Hi guys, it's Nicole and welcome to my 33 and my 34 week bump date. I have a huge amount to update you guys on, but first of all I just wanted to tell you all about this little baby. So this week baby is measuring about 2.2 kilos or about the size of a rock melon according to this app, and is 45 centimeters from top to toe. She's filling out and getting rounder, and she'll need her fat layers later to regulate her body temperature once she's born. If you don't already talk to your baby, this is a good time to start. At 35 weeks, your baby's hearing is fully developed, and don't feel ridiculous if you're already chatting in baby talk. Some evidence shows that newborns pay closer attention to high-pitched tones. If you've been nervous about going into premature labor, you'll be happy to know that 99% of babies born at 34 weeks can survive outside the uterus, most with no major problems. Although your baby's central nervous system is still maturing, her lungs nearly fully developed by now. I have quite a lot to update you guys on. If you follow me on Instagram, then you probably know some of this already, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably should, because I post on there quite frequently. But last week was not a fantastic week in terms of my general health this pregnancy, so I wanted to update you guys all about that firstly, and then I'll go into how I'm feeling this week symptom wise, and a little bit of an update on the fact that I had an ultrasound yesterday. So first of all, talking about last week, so last Tuesday I was feeling pretty good. I went into work and I did about a 7-hour day, and I came home that afternoon and I was on call, and I got called back to work. So I think I finished work at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got called back at about 6:30 that night. And I went in and did a beautiful water birth, but it was a very, obviously being a water birth, it was very natural, straightforward sort of a birth, but it did mean that I was being very physical. So anytime that you've got a mum that's wanting to be nice and natural, they tend to be you know, more active in that sort of stuff. And being in the bath, I have to lean over the bath quite a lot to listen to the baby's heartbeat, and obviously to be able to see what's going on and that sort of thing. And then after the birth, we tend to get them out to birth the placenta, and most of the time we do that on a mattress on the floor. So it just involved a lot of squatting and bending down and that sort of stuff for myself, and I was feeling pretty good about it at the time. But I was there from about 6:30 till just about half midnight maybe, so I did in total, I worked it out, maybe like 13.5 hours that day. And by the end of it, I was walking down the hallway to like empty my linen and stuff, and my hips and my feet were just so sore. Thank God I had one of my colleagues with me, because I'm in Australia. It's really stupid. Well, I don't know if it's Australia-wide, but my hospital, in order to be able to do water births, you need to be water birth credentialed, and part of that involves witnessing a certain amount of water birth, and then having someone with you, and you getting them to sign you off to say that you're competent in water births. So one of my colleagues in my group needed to have a few more witnesses and a few more water births signed off so that she could send in her package and get water birth credentialed. So thank goodness she was there with me, because she did a lot of stuff like on the ground for me, which really helped. I honestly couldn't have got through the night without her. But by the end of the night, I was just so sore. I went home, and I got home probably about 1:30, went right to bed, and I woke up about 6:30 the next day, and I was supposed to go back to work. I woke up and I was struggling to even be able to get to my ensuite, which is, you know, a few meters away. And every time I took a step, I would just get horrible like sciatic pain, and it felt like my hips were just going to rip apart, like just that burning sensation that I was talking about last time, but like a whole new level. Like it was just horrible. It actually brought tears to my eyes. Like I burst out crying just trying to get to the toilet, and I was like, I cannot do this. Like, I couldn't even walk downstairs to get to the kitchen to make myself breakfast. It was that bad. So I ran myself a hot bath and hopped into that and sort of just like called my work colleagues and stuff and tried to schedule the day so that it would be alright if I couldn't be there that morning. And I felt really bad because I have a new girl that's taking over my job coming, and I was supposed to be orientating her and everything, so it was a bit of a hectic sort of morning and not ideal. But obviously I work in a close team and they were really great about it. So I had my hot bath and that really helped. I had a bath bomb from Lush that was supposed to be like a relaxing one. I can't remember what was in it, but whatever was in it, it really helped. I was able to make it downstairs, and then throughout the day, the more I like moved around, it did all loosen up. So it was obviously just muscular sort of pains. And then of course I had a bit of a headache because I worked the night before, probably hadn't drunk enough. I was surviving off probably like 5 hours sleep, and I wasn't really too concerned about the headache, to be honest. I went back to bed, had a bit more of a nap, and then I was getting work phone calls all day because I carry a work phone as well. And I got up to take a phone call. I like sat up out of my bed, and then I went into another room because I needed a pen, and I sat down and I got like all these fireworks in front of my eyes. So it wasn't like, you know, when you stand up and you get up too quickly and you get a bit dizzy and lightheaded and your vision goes funny. It wasn't at all like that. I didn't feel dizzy, I didn't feel lightheaded with it. I just had these weird like swirly fireworks in front of my eyes. And if any of you don't know, that's a sign that your blood pressure is high. So as soon as I saw that, I kind of thought in my head, oh shit, I have to go to the hospital. So I rang up my midwife and she agreed that I had to come in. So I didn't really want to drive, so I called my brother, who happened to be home, and he drove me in and dropped me off. And I got there and my midwife took my blood pressure. She didn't tell me what it was initially. She just said that, yeah, it's high, and I could tell by her face as well. And she made me do a urine sample and then sent me for some blood tests as well. So while I was waiting for those to come back, she checked my blood pressure again a couple of times and said that it had come down. So she then told me that originally my blood pressure, can't remember if it was 140 on 90 or 150 on 90, which is really quite high for me because normally my blood pressure sits anywhere from 95 to maybe 110 on 55 to like 65. Like, my blood pressure is never at all high, so it's quite high for me. And then it did come down, and it came down to like 120 on 80, which again is a little bit high for me, but not unusual for like your blood pressure to go up a little bit towards the end of your pregnancy. And then they put me on the monitor to monitor baby, and basically I had to wait for my blood and my urine results to come back and then get reviewed by one of the doctors. My urine results came back slightly elevated, so they were looking for protein in my urine. That came back slightly elevated, however my bloods came back completely normal, and I only had like the visual disturbances once. And the doctor was pretty happy that they would allow me to go home, and then obviously for me to come back if I was worried about anything. So I was happy with that. I went back 2 days later, I think. She wanted me to get my blood pressure checked. So this was on the Wednesday, yeah. So I must have gone back on Friday and had my blood pressure checked. It was completely normal, and there was still protein in my urine, but less protein. So they didn't think I needed to have any more blood tests, which was good. This whole time though, I've still had headaches. They haven't been as bad as they were that other day on the Wednesday, but they have still been pretty persistent. You might remember, if you've been following me for a long time, that I've had quite a lot of headaches this pregnancy, mostly in the first trimester and I guess the start of the second trimester, but lately they've been pretty good. So I'm wondering if maybe this is just going to be a normal thing for me. I'm not really sure. I went back yesterday for another really quick appointment because I had an ultrasound at the hospital. So the midwife was like, come back after your ultrasound and I'll check your blood pressure again. Again, my blood pressure has been normal, but I still have protein in my urine, which is really kind of annoying. This whole time, obviously, what they're worried about is preeclampsia. I'm not going to go into what preeclampsia is because it would take forever, but it's basically a disease of pregnancy that is caused by the placenta. So if you want to know more, you can Google it. Symptom wise, things that you need to look out for preeclampsia are headaches, visual disturbances, pain sort of up around here, swelling. One other thing I forgot to mention actually is I was really puffy that day. Like, my face was ridiculously puffy, like even around here and here of my eyeballs were puffy, my fingers were puffy, my ankles and my feet especially. Like, I just felt like a Michelin man. Like, it was really quite disgusting. But I am feeling a lot better. I honestly just think I had pushed myself too much that day, well, the day before. And I just was so exhausted. I was running on such limited sleep that, yeah, I honestly just pushed myself too much. And I was thinking at the time that I would have to finish up work early, but I really didn't want to do that. Like, I was willing to if I had to, obviously for the health of the pregnancy and the baby, but I really didn't want to have to do that because I didn't want to let down my work colleagues. But because everything has come back normal since, I have kept working because I had like, I think 4 shifts left at the time. So I now have 1 shift left, which is tomorrow. I'm so excited about that. And then I will be able to put my feet up and just relax and concentrate on making sure the rest of the pregnancy goes nice and smooth. I went and saw my acupuncturist today and explained everything that happened with him. And he basically agreed that I had pushed myself too much and was talking about like my energy levels and that sort of thing. And so he has given me some Chinese herbs to start taking. He was sort of like, do you want some herbs? And once he explained what they were for and stuff, I was like, yes, I want herbs. Like, I want to do anything that I can do to avoid having to be medically induced early. So if this helps with my blood pressure and everything, I am willing to take it. So he basically just said this is going to help my liver, help my blood pressure, and help with like just the general energy of the body. So I'm going to be starting that again. I'm also trying to drink a lot of water. I've got this massive water bottle here, and I try to drink 2 of these a day. Today I haven't really succeeded because I've been out and about and I've been using a different water bottle. So I've drunk a full water bottle of a different one that I've been using, which is a lot smaller than this, and I've only drunk like that much of this one today. But I've still got plenty of time left, so that is my aim. If I can get through 1 of these, this is just under 2 liters, then I'm pretty happy with that. But I'm just trying to drink as much water as I can. Obviously it is still summer in Brisbane and it is really hot, so I'm not surprised that I'm puffy, but I think it has gotten a lot better. My hands, I would say, are still a little bit puffy, but not too bad. And my face, I think, sorry, I'm looking at myself in the camera, I think my face isn't actually too bad compared to what it was last week. I still feel like I'm a bit puffy, and to be honest, I've put on like 4 kilos in the last, I think, 3 weeks. So that's quite a lot of weight, and I feel like a lot of it is probably fluid retention because I was doing quite well with my weight gain and like just steadily gaining weight, and then all of a sudden it was just like bam, put on all this weight. And I don't feel like I've put on that amount of weight. Like, my clothes and everything are still fine. So yeah, I don't really know what that's about, but hopefully I'll go in and birth and like lose 10 kilos like that, hopefully. My heartburn is starting to get a little bit worse, I'd say. I'm still not getting it every night, it's just every now and then, but when it does happen, it is worse than it has been in the past. But again, I'm managing it quite well. I just take 2 of the Tums tablets, which actually I'll show you them. These these are the heartburn tablets that I take. They're called Tums. They just come like that. And I take 2 of these. You just chew them. They don't really taste amazing, but at the same time they don't taste disgusting either. So I'll have 2 of those and just wash it down with some water, and then I'll prop myself up with an extra like U-shaped pillow behind my back. This is the pillow that I use. I have 2 of these. I have a white one and a brown one that I use, and I just sort of put it up behind my shoulders and it props me up a little bit so that I'm not lying too flat, and that seems to do the trick. I'm still getting up, I'd probably say twice a night to wee, and I'm noticing that things are starting to get more uncomfortable with my pelvis, especially like I mentioned in my last video, that burning where my pelvis meets in the middle at the front. That is getting worse somewhat, and my tailbone pain as well has come back, but honestly that's just because I've got a baby head in my pelvis now, so that's a good sign. Obviously we want that to happen, we want our head to be down. Also, I am feeling more tired each sort of day. Some days are better than others. I get bursts of motivation every now and then. Today I've managed to do 2 loads of washing, and that's about it. I keep on looking at my kitchen and thinking I really need to clean the kitchen and I need to do the vacuuming, but I just can't be bothered at the moment. It is really hot, so I'm kind of just hanging out in my room in the air conditioning and catching up on some Netflix and stuff at the moment, and just doing things sort of in between when I get spurts of energy. So the things that I've been doing today is I've washed the car seat covers so that I can put the car seat in the car at some point in the next few weeks, and I also bought online a Mummaroo, which I really wanted but I really couldn't justify spending the money on, and I managed to find one secondhand from a lady that lives a few suburbs away from me and was selling it for a pretty reasonable price. So I went and bought that today, and so I'm just washing the cover for that as well. So that is the extent of my motivation for the day. This baby is continuing to move a lot, and it's still getting lots of hiccups, which is quite cute. I feel like it's gotten a lot higher as well this week, and I'm getting more movements at the top here. And if I am being really lazy and not having the best posture, which I don't have the best posture normally anyway, and if I'm sort of leaning forward, I feel like I'm almost like just leaning on the baby. I feel really bad, and it'll give me a couple of kicks and stuff to remind me, and I feel like it has a really bony bum because it's just so hard up the top here. Yeah, so I think it must get that from me, because Ryan does not have a bony bum. He has like a black girl booty, and I had a really bony bum as a child. I was like a scrawny little thing, so that is probably from me, this bony sore bum that's up in my ribs. Now that I am 34 weeks, well, I'll be 34 weeks tomorrow, I am officially started the raspberry leaf tea tablets. Take 2 of those a day. I'm also on vitamin D tablets twice a day, or two a day, sorry. And then I'm going to be taking these Chinese herbs. If you're new to this channel, I was on Chinese herbs a lot throughout the IVF process, and I can't really stomach the taste of it. You're supposed to mix it with water and like shot it, and I can't do that. So what I do is, thankfully I still had heaps of these left. I've got like 2 bags. Is I've got these clear capsules. I don't know if you can even see that there, but they're just clear capsules that you can take apart and fill up. So I just fill my Chinese herbs in there, and then I take them that way. It's a little bit more work obviously because you have to fill them, and it's a bit annoying because I need like 5 spoonfuls of this, which will probably equate to, I don't know, maybe like 10 of these. I don't know, I haven't filled them up yet. But it's the easiest way for me to get them in. since I have been taking the raspberry leaf tea, and actually even before that, I've definitely been feeling a lot more tightening and a lot more Braxton Hicks. They're not painful, but they're definitely noticeable, and I have been getting more period pain, more period type pains as well, probably for the last week or two. It's really weird to feel like period cramps. It's kind of like, you know, like right before you are expecting your period, and you might get like some cramping and stuff, which kind of lets you know that your period is coming. It's kind of like that, and it's so weird because I obviously haven't had any of that in a very long time, so to have it again is quite strange, but hopefully that is all a good sign. Obviously when all of this happened with the blood pressure and stuff, I was really worried that I wouldn't be making it to full term. I was worried that you know, if my blood pressure was still high, they would have to either induce me early, or if my blood pressure was really high, like I'd have to have a cesarean and deliver early and that sort of thing, because that's exactly what happened to one of my other friends who was about the same amount of weeks as I was. So that was kind of like in the back of my mind, and I could just slowly see that vision of my perfect water birth just slipping away. But hopefully now everything is going to be settling down and everything is going to go smoothly. I will be doing lots of things, well, as much as I can, to try and encourage my cervix to ripen and get ready for birth in the next few weeks. I personally think I probably will make it to my due date, if not go overdue, just because that's what people in my family do. And that really doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so my memory card is getting really full, so I really need to quickly get this finished. But basically I had an ultrasound yesterday to check the placenta. At my 20-week scan it was low-lying, and I'm happy to say that it is now no longer low-lying, so it's not near my cervix at all. It's moved up out of the way, like it's still in the lower segment, but it is nowhere near the cervix. And baby is measuring well, so it's measuring on the 53rd or the 56th percentile, which is about the 2.6 kilo mark at the moment, which is perfect. So right in the middle of the scale of where we want it to be, which is great. Everything looks great. They checked the heart, everything, kidneys, everything, fluid levels, everything looked perfect, which is awesome. So that's all I had to update you guys on. I'll leave you a quick shot of the bump, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye! So this is my 34-week bump from the front, from the side. Sorry, I'm on my knees. And from the other side. This is what it looks like with the shirt up. It's definitely not the most glamorous belly in the world, but I don't really care. And from the side, I'm definitely carrying high and waiting for this baby to drop. And then from the other side.